What's up guys, it's Cam coming at you from the 2-6. Welcome back to Carolina Fragrance Reviews. Once in a while, a really inexpensive fragrance will come in an exciting package. And sometimes celebrity fragrances are not exactly high quality. A lot of times they're very synthetic and they smell like they're $18 to $25. Stay tuned for an $18 to $25 celebrity fragrance that does not disappoint. So the fragrance I'm talking about today is none other than the 2007 or 2008 release. There's mixed reports and stuff on the internet. It is the original, the OG from Usher. It's Usher He. Now, when this fragrance first came out, I bought it. I do remember, the time frame of when I bought it right when it came out. And whether it was 07 or 08, it would coincide with what was going on in my life at that time. I was actually living in a townhouse. I remember the girl that I was dating. Matter of fact, I had a pretty cool relationship with her daughter. She and I would listen to Slipknot together. So pretty cool. That's why it's a nostalgic fragrance. And then when I actually was talking to Richard Herpen, he told me that he had actually worked with Usher on this fragrance. So that made it even, a little more exciting for me because he's told me that Usher was very enthusiastic and took a very big part. Now I know some celebrity fragrances are, it's just basically like, okay, we're going to come out with this and we're going to put whoever on there. But I know for sure that Usher wanted a certain scent profile and he worked with Richard to make it happen. Before I actually get into the fragrance, I figured I would go ahead and go over the box with you, being that I'm holding it in my hand. And as I said, this fragrance can easily be picked up between $18 to $25. So for what you get, I feel is a rather good deal. Okay, so the box to me looks kind of like leather, almost like what a wallet or a billfold would look like. And then you've got of course, you just got Usher right here. You've got your UR right here, more information on the back, nothing on the sides, and of course your batch code on the bottom. And this is just indented a little bit right here. So, nothing fancy schmancy about the box, but it is, pretty decent. Again, in this price range, it does feel relatively nice. Same goes for the bottle. I'm actually, for the price that this is a rather heavy and high quality feeling bottle. It's really smooth. You got a really nice matte black finish on here, and on the cap you have some really nice engraved designs here that just for aesthetic reasons, I suppose. Then on the top it says it's not how famous you are but what you're famous for. So that means I could be a famous dad to my son. You could be famous to your wife, you could be famous to your girlfriend, your family, whatever the case may be. So you don't necessarily have to be up in lights to be famous or to be a superhero or even a rock star, or in Usher's case, like an R&B singer. So if you'll notice down on the bottom of the fragrance, it says Usher, and then you have the He right here with the H and E with the line that goes through it. So that's one way to know, because a lot of people just thought it was just like Usher for men or whatever, but it is He. And as I said, Richard Herpen, the same person that has the line Precious Liquid, and also has worked on numerous other projects like Tom Ford Oud Wood, Patchouli Absolute, and many, many others. So you don't have a slouch as far as the perfumer that worked on this fragrance. The very first time that I talked to Richard, he actually had mentioned when he started working on these projects with Usher and how cool he was and how he really wanted to work hand in hand. So I thought that was a pretty unique story to begin with. And then of course, him being a frag head and then having a fragrance that was actually in the top 5 most sold fragrances when it first came out. So this was a relatively popular fragrance when it first came out. Now the point of me actually highlighting this fragrance is because there's a lot of new people that are, just getting into fragrances. Then there's plenty of us that are, have been frag heads for a very long time, and we have some very expensive fragrances. So whether you're 17 and you're just starting out and you can't figure out which fragrances you want to buy and you don't want to drop a whole bunch of money, or if you've been in the game for 20, 30 years and you've got thousands of fragrances and God knows how much money tied up in them, This is a really nice in-between fragrance. I found that this fragrance has enough quality that you could, wear it to work. It's inoffensive, and it will keep you from draining your expensive fragrances without sacrificing quality. So let me just show you the atomizer real quick. Pretty decent distribution, not like across the room, but will definitely get the job done. Again, does not feel cheap. You've actually got some decent weight to the cap here. So I think there was a lot, the kind of thought process that went into this to make it accessible but not feel cheap. Now, as far as the scent, it's very clean, but it is very well blended. Now, the notes, when you read it, you're gonna see a lot of different things that, people have done, like old reviews on it and, different write-ups on it and all that. You'll see that there's a lot of different opinions about it. So I just want to give you my thoughts on it, which I find very unique because like when you look at the notes, like pineapple is one of the notes in here. I don't really get any pineapple. You also have some lemon verbena and some melon. Now you definitely get some of that lemon verbena and some of that melon right at the top, but it doesn't really, I don't really get much pineapple or any pineapple, to be honest with you. And of course that could just be me. I've seen people say that this was sweet. I don't find this fragrance to be like overly sweet. It actually, it's fresh. Fresh is the best way to describe the opening of this fragrance. And then as it starts to dry down, which starts happening relatively quickly, I would say maybe 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit less, you're gonna start getting into the mids that has a nice little peppery vibe. And you're also gonna get like a hint of violet with that pepper. But it is really, really tapered back. It almost has just a little bit of like a classic feel to it. I don't wanna say old school. I'd rather say classic because I don't want to confuse you, because some of that old school like violet and lavender really will take it to, like old school fragrances back in the 80s. This is more of like a classic feel. Now, what I really like about this fragrance is the dry down. It has a really nice musk, but it also has a suede note, which would actually kind of explain this. And I don't know if it's technically leather or suede, but to me, it smells more like a soft leather. It's not gonna be an abrasive leather. It's gonna be mixed with the woods. It has a slight creaminess that you're gonna get from the sandalwood on it. And the musk is really, really nice mixed with that suede. You also pick up just a tiny little hint of vetiver, somewhere between the mids to the full dry down. What I really like about the dry down on this though is that hint of suede mixed with that musk and woods with a little bit of spice. It's really masculine. I think that this is like, not like hyper masculine, but it's gonna be sexy. And it does have like a classy feel about it. It's not gonna be to the point to where like if a 17 or 18-year-old dude wears this, he's gonna feel like he's wearing his dad's fragrance. But if his dad is a middle-aged guy, he definitely, could get this off his dad's shelf, because that's how versatile it is. It could be fine for, like a 40 to 50-year-old man or teenager or anywhere in between. Now, if you guys are familiar with Richard Herpen's work, you'll know that he is really good at making very well-balanced fragrances. And this one is no exception. Especially again, it's like, to be honest with you, there are fragrances that, designer fragrances that I have smelled that have more of like a synthetic feel, that actually feel a little bit less expensive. Like if you were just to smell this and then, didn't know what bottle it came in, didn't know how much it cost, it really could pass for a more expensive fragrance. Now, because this fragrance was, perfumed with a gentle hand, it's not a very abrasive fragrance. This would be great for date night, or it could be worn as like a signature scent. It could be worn in the office. It's gonna be non-offensive, and it doesn't put off like a huge scent bubble. It does sit fairly close to the skin. It doesn't have like over the moon performance. About 5.5 to 6 hours tops is what I get on my skin, and I usually hold fragrance a little bit better than other people because I have very oily skin. But I actually saw that other people were getting, in the same neck of the woods. But again, for 18 to 20, 25 bucks, who cares? Reapply. And again, even if you're layering, and of course, if you spray on your clothes, you'll get a little bit more. But even stacking this fragrance after you've already put some on, I don't really see an instant instance where you would choke somebody out unless you just went ham on a trigger, just, you know, dousing yourself. Now, I have tried all of the Usher fragrances. VIP is another good one, but I thought this would be a good place to start. I think I'm going to try to cover, you know, try to find like some fragrances that are less expensive, but don't feel like you're sacrificing the quality. Also, let me know if you have tried Usher He or anything else from the Usher collection. Until next time, I'll see you on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.